So what particularly attracted to you to Sandy's cubicle carbon capture topic? What was compelling for you about it, or what was interesting?
Well, interesting is that I'm working a lot, and actually most of my time I'm like 10, 12 hours in a cubicle or in a workspace, and a lot of people do the same. So that can really make a big impact. And I think there's, with digital methods and others, a lot of good solutions to eliminate paper and a lot of other things.
Okay. And what's your favorite vacation spot?
Well, I'm traveling around now, so I hope to visit them all. I would like to go in the future to a castle in France. They are building that castle with medieval, yeah, like they would have done it in the medieval times. I don't have the name. I can look it up, but that is like something I want to go to.
I'll put a default French castle there, and then when there's one that comes up, well, that's what suits it better. We'll go there.
Perfect.
Okay. Thanks, Alex. I'm glad you're here. And then finally, Laura, and who it seems to prefer, I would assume skiing, could be snowboarding. Maybe you just like hiking in the snow. I mean, what's
or mountains and snow? Yeah. So I think it's any kind of picture that depicts that. So yeah, hi. I hope my internet connection is okay as well. For some reason in the evenings, everyone wants to use it in this area and it gets a bit like limited. So yeah, I'm from Wales originally. I moved to Germany about 3 years ago and started working in people and organizational development. Before that, I was working in organic farming, the farming industry. I come from like a science background, so I was working a lot in sustainability. It was the norm for me where I was working, and so working here now in facilitation. So I do the organization. I don't facilitate, I don't travel because I have 2 kids also, and I don't want to be a mum that's not around. So being able to virtual facilitate is something that I'm really passionate about, and I'm driving it within the organization. We do design sprints, we do them face-to-face. I am like a product expert for hackathons, which is also quite similar. We've tried doing them on Mural and it wasn't so successful when we did it, but I think we have a lot to learn. A lot of it is like engagement and things. So I'm interested in this, and like a few of them I think are quite similar, and the one of the challenges I put up is similar as well. But we have a lot. So when we go sometimes to workshops, we'll print a lot of flip charts. They're not used again. We do a lot of traveling, and there's a kind of a mindset that, how can we, just this one person, make a difference, or we're a small company, how can we make a big difference in the wider world? And also it's things like heating left on and windows left open, and people just don't get it. And it's just thinking of a way to be able to communicate that. Like, we have some students that come and help us. I have children that I don't know how to communicate it so that they understand. It's not driven in schools or anything. I think it's just about the little things that you can make an impact with. So if we start kind of building that mindset in the office and then filtering it on into other parts of our lives, I think we can make a difference with it. And like, why wait? Like Sandy said, why wait for the governments to do anything? They've got other things in their agenda. And
Laura, where in Germany are you from?
We're in Bamberg, so it's not a great location for even traveling anyway. So yeah.
I pass it a lot on my way to Nuremberg.
It's there. It's really pretty. It's a really nice place, and the owner of the company is from Bamberg, which is why he's quite resistant, obviously, to move. But yeah, we draw a lot of talent here, but it gets a bit boring for young people after a while.
So what's Bamberg really known for? If you have to bring over your family, you say this is why you have to come to Bamberg, with the exception of you, of course.
I guess the beers, but isn't that typical all over Germany? Yeah, I guess castles as well, but I think, yeah, it's really pretty. It's got a lot of history, and a lot of old buildings and old paintworks and the church. Yeah, I mean, I was from a part of Wales that got really destroyed in the war, so it's really industrial. So seeing a part of Europe that wasn't destroyed in the war is quite nice.
Yeah.
Even if I am in the country that never did that, but we won't go there.
Cool. All right. So thanks for introducing. I think we're set at least to go ahead. Before we do, I think I'm getting in the habit of doing a little bit of an icebreaker before we get started. The last time we did it, we did a personal item that you brought in front of the camera, but this time, what I'd like you to do is find some sort of picture in your vicinity, in the general area. You may have to get up and go grab it. Something that's either a picture or a photo or something that is representative of an image that you want to put up in front of the camera. If you don't have that, all you have to do is just frame your face and you can take a picture of it like that. Okay? So you got either choice. There you go. Yeah, don't get a picture. That's for I want to go grab it.
Got this. Nice.
Yeah. Right. So this is going to be a picture that we took from India. Ow, that was my niece. And so this is kind of like a good one right there. There you go. That is, all right, Alex, you're not doing any kind of picture. You're just gonna. No? Okay, that's fine. Ready? You gotta pick.
Yes.
Anyway, you can do that. That's fine. There you go.
It's like the picture. I'm a digital nomad. I'm in a place of another person.
Then all you have to do is just frame your face, and you got it. Tim, you got a picture right behind you, dude. There's the one over there.
Yes, but it does not represent me, but I can show it to you. No, one moment.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
I'm absolutely don't know who SM is. That's absolutely, I have no idea.
Oh, hang on. Okay.
And that is the picture that the guy that is renting me the space out left there. Actually,
That works. All right, I'm gonna do a shot. Bia, if you want to turn on your video and put anything you can. Otherwise, we're gonna go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a while. All right, thank you very much.
One moment.
I was prepared this time. I totally didn't have anything at the last LDJ.
Well, the phone is very convenient. So all you have to do is just put it up to the screen. It's like, there's my image.
Yeah, but finding it, I had to get it like looking good. And I'm into audiobooks. I don't have physical books at the moment. I don't have, yeah. So.
There's nothing wrong. I like audiobooks as well, so that works.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we're going through this process, I'll be kind of focusing everyone's attention on certain parts of the mural to kind of guide things along. If you have any questions at any point during this exercise, just speak up and let me know and I'll try to guide you through it. Let's see here. So for reference, this is going to be what we're working against, the Cubicle Carbon Capture, reducing the eco footprint at the offices where you work. This is going to basically be the focal point of what we're going to be doing today for the Lightning Decision Jam. At the end of this, we're going to be probably not only identifying the core problem, but also the perspective where we're going to go with it, as well as ideate on some compelling solutions and figure out where we go from there. First stop is going to be looking at this particular thing with reducing the eco footprint at the offices where you work, and think of things that are currently working where you are. So some aspects of either your workplace, or in Alex's case, if he's a digital nomad, where you've been so far, that seems to indicate that people are cluing into the idea that what you do at the office matters. So look at the positive aspects of what people are currently doing to reducing their eco footprint at the offices, either individually or as an organization. And this is just kind of an exercise to get you used to working with Mural. If you want to basically put anything in those cards, you just double click on a card and you can put what your idea is. So in my case, when I double click on mine, I'm going to put recycling as an example, just to basically put there. But go ahead and take about 2 minutes to kind of put in things that are currently working when it comes to carbon capture or reducing your eco footprint in the office workplace. and you'll see a little timer go off at the very top of the screen. Again, if any of you have any problems working with Mural, if you're having issues interacting with it or zooming with it, do let me know, and I can help you either in chat in Zoom, or I can basically work with you live online as we're working through this.
Sandy, your video was really helpful. I watched that earlier. It's
Awesome.
on Slack, yeah.
I might need a little bit of help.
Yeah.
I watched the video as well, but I'm not.
I think having a list of the shortcut keys somewhere would be really good, like for a point of reference, because I had to go back on the video to watch it again to remember stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, I tried putting your video back on. I don't know why it was stopping me from having you get on for some reason. That was weird.
Looks
10 seconds left.
I've been told to get you off my mind, but I hope I never lose you.
Okay, if you are working on a digital card, go ahead and stop what you're doing, or not stop what you're doing, finish up what you're doing on the card itself. Don't stop in mid-sentence if you want. So everything you wrote on the working side of things is now going to be put in contrast to all the problems that you currently may be encountering with reducing your eco footprint. So a good way of doing this is that for this part over here on capture all your problems, you're going to be looking at things from the perspective of, okay, now that I understand or put into context what seems to be working with reducing my eco footprint, what are some problematic issues or things that are not working well? And go ahead and start putting in those in that space. And we'll give you about 3 minutes for this one and see where things go. Again, just don't go ahead and use any of the cards here. Double click on them, put your thoughts in. If you want, you can basically go on look at the things that are working and think of the complete opposite or the 180 of that to kind of give you some clues as to where you could go with it.
I've been told to get you off my mind, but I hope I never lose you. Live
All right,
behind.
who's playing the music?
Oh, my Lord, I need you on my side. There must be something in the water, 'cause every day it's
I knew it.
Isn't there a Sprint Spotify list?
Yeah, there is.
Sprints for this kind of work.
But usually the Spotify and the playlists are usually good for the teams themselves. When the sprint teams come together for these challenges, that's when usually the playlists get curated by the teams themselves. We have about a minute left. If any of you need more time, just go ahead and raise your hand or put it in the chat that you need some more time. And Sandy, I like the fact that you put more grade cards in there. I think it works well.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, were you, well, hang on, never mind. I can answer my own question if I search for it. I don't have to ask it twice.
3 seconds. 2 seconds. 1
Oh,
second.
got it. Okay. Sandy, I noted that I just realized that was the reason why you were kind of like guiding everyone, is that you were wanted to kind of do this session. So my fault.
It's okay. I don't mind.
Okay.
I
Do you
can
want
I
to
can
take it from
participate
here?
also.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
All right. I'll go ahead. Sure. I totally spaced it. I would think I was in the middle of doing 3 things at once. Okay, so we're going to take all the obstacles and problems that are here, and we're going to go ahead and copy them over to this side over here to the right, where there's a little affinity diagram inside. We'll put these here, and take these 3. And what you're going to be doing is taking the way affinity diagram works, if you're not familiar with it. So you're going to be taking all of the different group names that are here, and you're going to be taking all the individual cards and finding out where they make sense to kind of group them together. So an easy example is just to take one of the group names, and for cards that seem to be similar, start stacking it under them like this, and then eventually giving the group a name that corresponds to groups of a similar type. So you can have any of these. What's that?
Just wondering if you could try something else.
Yeah, go for it.
Just wondering if instead of moving the cards, can we actually let them stay and then put the gray cards beside it? I just want to see.
So it's horizontal rather than vertical?
Yeah, just want to see if that works also.
Okay. So we're going to do a little bit of a switch. We're going to do them from left to right. So if they fit into a certain level, go ahead and put in a category where they seem to make sense and put them kind of horizontal from the left. Was that your original intention to do it that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I wasn't sure either, so just want to test it out.
And now we're going to find out.
Yes.
What's interesting is I don't see double clicking going on where you could normally create another card. And by the way, you don't have to force the cards into a particular category. This is just to kind of structure your thinking around how the cards are. Right. So it looks like the majority of them are kind of sorted out. There's awareness, responsibility, travel, impact, technology, integral work chain, priorities, and ownership. And they're all represented from left to right in terms of their categorization. So what we're going to do now is go through a voting session where we're going to give everyone a certain amount of votes to pick the particular issues that are the most compelling or seem the most intriguing or interesting that you would want to move forward and kind of either explore or ideate against. So it looks like we have about, and it looks like we have 8 15, 20, 25, 28. So probably around, let's say 7 votes each. Do it that way. So which problems are
And
most-
we are voting only on the gray cards.
Yes. Okay. So yes, to Sandy's point, only vote on the gray cards, and I'll start the voting session. You'll see something in Mural come up where it'll ask you to click on a card to vote on it, shift click to remove a vote, and keep in mind that your arrows are going to be anonymous, so no one's going to be able to see where you're kind of pointing at or what you're voting at. So this is going to be completely like under the table. So don't vote for any of the gold categories, vote for the gray cards in the affinity diagramming area.
Is it possible to put more dots on one card?
Yes, you can vote for, that's a good thing to point out. You can vote for more than once on a single card. You could put all 7 votes on one card if you feel compelled to do so. But yeah, you can put 1, 2, or 3, or even 4 votes on a particular one that you're like, yep, that's the one. Or if you want to spread them out over 2 or 3, that's good too. We kind of do a racehorse effect too. So I'm not going to be voting. Everyone else can. Jerome has got 1 vote left. Anonymous Bird is about to catch up to him. So is Ian. See who can. Oh, Jerome crosses. So does Sandy Lamb pretty fast. Ian's in 3rd. The Bird's in 4th. The Goat's in 5th. The Penguin still thinking about that last vote.
Commentary is great.
And I'm wondering if I bother people sometimes.
I like it. I think there's something you need on this, though, isn't it? More integration.
Oh, to pass the time too. Penguin can't make up their mind.
Oh, now it's back to 3 votes.
Penguin back. No, it's going backwards. Wait a minute. All right, there you go. Right. All right, so let's take a look and see how people voted. I'll go ahead and end it on my side. So what you'll see in the voting at the end of the voting session are the number of votes that are cast for cards as well as the unique votes. And we can take it from there. So the one that had a lot of votes and unique votes as well, the one that came out was individuals don't understand what creates most impact to reducing CO2. And I think that's a pretty good one to go forward with. The rest of them have different votes. You can scroll down to see like the vote count as well as the unique voters. But I think that one kind of edged itself out. So that's the one that we're going to take forward. Usually what we'll do is we'll take we'll border the particular one and we'll copy it and bring it over to the one down here. Yep. Now, Sandy, you're going to copy and paste, or are you just going to take the card itself?
Oh, I thought you were doing it. That's why I stopped.
Oh, okay, no.
That's
fine.
okay. I have it.
And I can do play-by-play on what Sandy's doing in the video, so that's fine. I'm
Gonna
good.
change to color.
I'm gonna.
Is that better? The color?
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
That worked. Okay, so I'm gonna call everyone's attention down to the lower left-hand side, and I'll just summon everyone here in Mural. So now we're looking at reframing this particular problem as a challenge. Now, for some of you that have gone through How Might We's, it isn't too difficult to do because you've kind of gone through the process, but if you're not familiar with it, How Might We is a way of speculating on where something can go without coming to a conclusion. So what you're essentially doing is framing the statement it's framing the statement to explore a possibility. So in the case of individuals don't understand what creates most impact to reducing CO2, a how might we for this could be, and I'm going to put it down here, go how might we create a, I'm going to say a poster a digital poster that showcases what impact someone can do. So that's just one possibility. But the how might we, if it's open-ended, is better than coming to a conclusion like I did. So if I reframe that, it's like, how might we create a resource that people can use to measure their carbon footprint, something like that. So kind of write a few of these statements out. You can make as many as you want. Whatever comes to mind in terms of a speculative statement that would kind of address the problem. We'll give 3 minutes for this one. If you have any questions, just speak up. And again, if you've never done this, it's going to feel a little foreign, but once you kind of do it a few times, it'll start to become a little easier. Got about a minute left. Right, go ahead and finish the card that you are currently working on. Okay, we'll do another round of voting. This one is to basically vote on the most compelling how might we that you see there. I'll take a few seconds, give you about 10 seconds to kind of look over everything, 10 or 15. Just kind of look at what other people have kind of put on there. You'll have 7 votes, and the question is, okay. Are you ready? Here we go. And bing. So again, work on just the gray cards. If nothing out of the how might we's. Click to add a vote to a card, shift click to remove one, and no one will be able to see your mouse cursor move. This is all going to be private. You can vote on as many, you can put attack votes onto a particular how might we that you really like, or you can spread them out over multiple ones. And it's safe to say that the penguin's running away from it, running away from it now, knowing how to do voting. Although they're stuck at 2. Now they're really thinking. There's a lot of shifting going on between folks in the mix. Penguin's safe so far. No one's broken that 3-vote barrier yet. Nope, Sandy Lamb just did. Nope, Sandy Lamb, whoa. Sandy vote, who goes across? The penguin still crosses. Sandy Lamb's right at the cut. Oh, gave up first place. Now it's back. The last vote is up for grabs. And the penguin still crosses. Oh, Tim Decker gets in front of Sandy Lamb, says, nope, I'm going to go Tim second. We got third and fourth up between a goat and Sandy Lamb. No, it's a 3-way tie for third. Nope. Penguin hit it. Goat's there. And everyone else is falling into place. We just have Ian and Jerome left. Tim's a little undecided on particular things. There you go. Jerome's got the last word. He's going to be the deciding vote. The vote he places will determine everyone's destiny. No pressure. Okay. Everyone's set. Going once, going twice. We are about to show the results. Let's see what came out of this voting session. Looks like we have one that had a lot of unique voters as well as a lot of votes. Is how might we present carbon impact in an engaging and motivating way? Second was how might we create trainings for people to learn how they can reduce their CO2 footprint. So for the purposes of the exercise, usually the mural kind of does a dance between unique voters and voting results. So we're going to move forward with how might we present carbon impact in an engaging and motivating way as the card we're going to be putting into the next one. So as I'm speaking, Sandy Lamb is working. It's like I'm almost doing like double time here. Okay, so we're bringing this over to.
I did already.
There you go. So the top problem is here with individuals don't understand what creates most impact to reducing CO2. The how might we came from the last exercise was how might we present carbon impact in an engaging and motivating way. Now for this particular exercise.
Before we get into the next exercise,
yeah.
Could I just point something out? If you guys want to learn a little bit more about proper way of framing how might we, and the difference between how might we and spin questions, if you scroll down at the bottom of the board, there's a little bit lessons there, so you can always just go and watch that or read about it. Just
basically, you can ignore what I'm talking about and go learn something new.
It has a little bit more detail, so that's what I'm saying.
No, I'm only kidding. That's fine.
Anyways, let's go back.
Right. So the trick with ideation in this session is that you're going to be taking the how might we, this particular one, and I'm going to probably make it white so that it's kind of standing out just a tad. So how might we present carbon in an engaging and motivating way? When you're thinking about this particular exploration, the solutions here, you want to have the mindset of quantity versus quality. So you want to just basically put the crazy ideas as well as the practical ideas in the mix here. So there'll be some initial things you think about that would be solutions to answer this. So how might we present carbon impact in an engaging and motivating way? Let's say one idea is a puppet show for kids and adults, right? It's just one possibility, but what you basically want to do is put in some ideas that may seem crazy, may seem intriguing, may seem practical, but put all of those in and go after quantity. And I'll give you, say, let's do 3 minutes, just see where this goes because we're running good on time. And if you just start running on fumes and you're saying donuts, 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 then I know we should probably wrap it up a little bit sooner. And yes, that was a dare to basically somebody just put donuts, 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 donuts. One of the notes. So serious as well as practical as well as silly, but put those ideas in there just to see what kind of comes up. Because they do spark at least perspective, if not humor. Okay, less than a minute left. Right. So let's go down here. Oop. Whoa, what's going on my keyboard? There we go. Right, so if you're doing a card, go ahead and finish up what you're typing. But don't start a new one. And for this one, we're going to do, Sandy, you give it a call. I think maybe it might be fun to do 10 votes so that people can put a little bit more on things, and because we're looking for maybe 2 or 3 possibilities. What do you think?
Yeah, let's go for 10.
Okay. So it's a party. Everyone's getting 10 votes for this one. The thing you want to choose are which ideas are the most interesting and most interesting and that you'd like to explore in a design sprint, potentially. Let's do 10. And go ahead and just vote on the gray ones that you see in front of the screen there. Same metaphor as before. Click to vote, shift click to unvote, and you can put as many votes as you want on a particular one. I just go to open up the results and Jerome's already like exhausted almost all of his votes. Like,
and he's gonna his
he
shift.
just wanted to get first.
Yeah,
now he's bringing them all back. Okay. Excuse me. Tim Decker's about to cross the finish line. So is Jerome. Jerome. Which one's? Oh, Jerome's first. Tim Decker's still deciding. Penguins nip it at his heels. Here comes the goat. Goat and penguin are chasing down Tim. Nope. That's the second. Now the goat and penguin are fighting out for third. And the goat wins. And the penguin is about to cross, and he or she does. Sandy Lamb and Anonymous Bird are going at it. Sandy Lamb says, nope, I'm going for you. Bird's still thinking about it. Ian's just having a good old time keeping all his votes to himself. And Bird has got one. Ian has those precious votes that he's just waiting for. It's kind of like the person that waits for everyone else to consume their Halloween candy so that they can get their Halloween candy done and just enjoy it. All the chocolate that's left over at the end. For those of you who know about American Halloween and all that fun stuff. No, the Bird put their vote back. They're hanging out. They're waiting for you. No, he's not there. Ian's all by himself now. 4 votes. Tim quickly changed the vote. And we're done. Let's check out and see what everybody voted for. We have a little bit of votes to see how they kind of cascaded. And we have a few. We have measure and track CO2 in the office and make it a competition. That's interesting. Have an award system with CO2 reduction point and can use it as points to redeem gifts and cash, a gamification. And Tamagotchi that's feeds of reduced carbon. That's fed reduced carbon, something like that. And there's another one that says create a simulation game that shows your impact in real time instead of waiting for 30 years in real life. Interesting. So Sandy, how do you feel about putting 4 in and then taking the top 2 or 3?
Let's do the
top 3.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the top 3. Okay. Right, so the 2 9s and the 7. And border those, copy them, bring them down. So we're going to do something where we're going to take the top 3 that we just had here, and we're going to put them in order of priority. So the way this works with the priority scale is basically, I'm going to put, say, the first one, which is measure and track CO2 in the office and make it a competition. I'm going to put it right in the middle of the importance scale. What you do as a participant is take your mouse arrow and kind of circle it around an area on the importance scale. Do you think this card should kind of be placed? So this will be for all 3, but for the first one, measure and track CO2 in the office and make it a competition. Where on the importance scale do you think this should live? And go ahead and put your mouse on that particular importance scale. So it looks like a lot of people are kind of going here. There's Sandyland. Okay, kind of right in the middle right there, it seems like. Okay. Now, let's have an award system with a CO2 reduction point and can use the points to redeem gifts or cash. Now, think of it in terms of this one. Does it belong is it less important or more important than this, and how far? So there's a lot of arrows over here. Sandy Lamb's kind of like hedging a bet. It should be over here.
Yeah.
I think people are kind of saying it should probably be. Okay. Then a Tamagotchi that's feeds of reduced carbon. And I'll just say, like, okay, somebody make your own interpretation. It's Tamagotchi that's fed and reduced carbon. Where should this live? Should it be more over here or less over here in terms of importance between those two? So interesting. You've got 3 here. You have 3 over here, and Ian being the Netherlands being like totally, or Greece and being totally neutral, or kind of. So on the side. So between these extremes and this one over here, it feels like it's close to here. But now I need to get some feedback from you. Between these 2, should this be slightly before or slightly ahead of this one? Go ahead and put your mouse on either side of these 2 boxes and tell me if they should be here or here. We have 3 arrows over here and 3 arrows over here. I don't think it's moving. 4 arrows. Okay, I see a 4th one. Okay. Tamagotchi, you're going a little bit this way. Tamagotchi, I don't know. Okay.
Awesome.
So let's put this in order so we can kind of, I think the last time we did this, I didn't put them in the right order before. So this one goes, oops, what did I do? Award system.
What?
So the measure and track CO2 in the office and make it a competition would probably be in the tan one. So this would be number 1. And then the Tamagotchi would be number 2, that's right. And then measure and track, no, so that gray one is this one. It's this one over here. Okay. So are these, okay, great. So these are these the circles or are these the?
Take it out.
Take it out, okay, fantastic. Okay, so here's how this works. So we have our top problem that we voted on. The individuals don't understand what creates the most impact to reducing CO2. We speculated that we could present carbon impact in an engaging and motivated way, but we didn't exactly say how. These 3 particular things are things where it said, okay, this is where it could basically go. This being the one that people feel is the most, has the most impact or importance. I say importance, then the Tamagotchi is 2nd, and the award system is 3rd. So what you're going to do is that there's going to be a color system over here that corresponds to the color and then to the dot. So what you do is that Sandy has already put her name in all 3. You're going to take a look at this, like the one that's in tan. It says measure and track CO2 in the office and make it a competition. And then go into this and read into each of these quadrants in this kind of this impact interest scale, this Eisenhower matrix. And the way it works is that the interest is on the x-axis from low to high. So if it's something that you're really interested in, it would be further to the right. If it's something that doesn't really ring any bells for you, then your dot would probably go further over to the left. And then Sandy's also put in here some things that basically typify the quadrant, what it stands for. So the one on the right, on the upper right is let's do it. One on the upper left is it's not interesting, but making an impact is good. You're kind of undecided, like, it's okay. And then very interesting, but low impact, meaning that it doesn't hit all bells for you, but it's an interesting idea. And then the forget about it, meaning that it doesn't really interest you and you don't think it really has much of an impact. So
Sandy is clear about the Tamagotchi thing, I would say.
that's perfectly fine. There is no judgment here. So you're going to put your
Just saying.
frank opinion on things and be like, no, I don't think so. And that's totally fine. There is no judgment here. So the way this is going to work is after everyone puts their dots down, we'll take a look at the results. And this is going to feed back into the GVDS mural board, and I'll explain how that's going to work. So go ahead, put your names for each color dot based on the solution up here in this space. So for all the tan should correspond to measure and track CO2 in the office and make it a competition. All the blues are for the Tamagotchi, and the gray are for have an award system and where you think that should fall. So I'll give you just a minute or two to kind of figure out where your interest and impact, your perception and impact stands. And
Sandy,
then we'll go from there.
Sandy, could you put the matrix in the background because I can't move my circle?
Yeah, I was going to, but then I didn't want to unlock everything. Oh, you guys can stop for a moment and then I can do that.
Thanks.
So.
Oh, is Ian's like dots going behind it?
Yeah.
Oh, we do this. Instead of unlocking it, could you highlight all those dots and put them up, make them up front?
Yeah, actually.
So you can lock it, but then select all the dots and then move to the front and should do it.
It's not letting me, I think because people are moving stuff. Maybe try that. No. It's not letting me.
There you go.
Did you do it already? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll try to not select. I think I'd select them individually. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because like when people are moving stuff around, then it doesn't let me, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, because it has possession. So all the spare ones, let me do. Okay, so you lock that down. Ian, are all your dots above or are they still behind?
They're still behind.
Okay. Hang on a second.
Trying to delete one of mine and it's not working.
Okay, so I see. Oh, this is locked. So they're individually locked. Yeah, well, let me just unlock this one and unlock this one. And I'm going to unlock this one. So don't select anything, anybody. I'm going to do a little bit of maneuvering. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And no, let's not do it that way. Let's do this.
That would be a nice feature for a mural host, is to freeze everybody's mouse cursor.
Yeah.
So don't select anything yet. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And highlight all of these. And bring it to the front.
Yay.
And then reselect this. This is real scientific. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20. And then group them. And then lock them. And that should do it. Everyone's dots there?
There's an empty.
Yeah,
dot.
that one needs to be removed. Like, and that one underneath.
Yeah.
Twice. That can go.
Works.
Also. Can someone delete that, or can I delete it? Yeah.
Be able to, yeah.
I've done it.
I'm trying. Ian, Tim, I'm just moving yours just so that it doesn't cover up Sandy's, so I can see all the names. Okay, so let's do just a quick analysis of that. So it looks like the first one has, in terms of just overall, seems to work really well with making it a competition in the office. Then there's, I think about a little over half. I think the Tamagotchi is a good one. Then there's 3 in particular, a little less than the majority, around the award system. So it kind of bears out the way that everyone voted in terms of both importance and in votes. So this is probably a leading candidate to move forward with in terms of a solution. Now here's how it kind of matches into the mural where we have the teams. Now, you may have to go into the Zoom to see the shared view so that I can kind of explain what happens next. So I'm going to move down a little bit here to the teams. And you may have noticed that all the Ds are gone because I don't really need to schedule the sessions anymore because they're in place. Well, after yesterday, what I did do is I started putting numbers next to particular names. So this corresponds to somebody's interest in a particular LDJ that was there. If they come back into this team, let's say like Team Coco, when they eventually have their kickoff meeting, they're going to have a conversation around the LDJs that each individual had done and what their impressions were of it and what they would like to propose for the team that they do. Now, the ones in boxes are pretty much teams that are forming where they're getting close. So the more that people kind of correspond to this, like Ian has done this one, there'll be a number right under him that says he basically did the LDJ and he can come back to the team and potentially explain what's compelling about it, what's interesting, but it's going to be through his filter. And the idea is that for all the LDJs that we're doing for the rest of this week, which is all of these, you know, my messy calendar over here, once we get through all these LDJs that we've kind of scheduled, we're going to have a pretty good idea of what people are interested in terms of a challenge. And then it'll be a team decision on which one people choose to move forward with into the Global Virtual Design Sprint. Does that make sense, or does anyone have any questions about that?
Trust the process sounds solid to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, clear.
Okay. Any questions or feedback on the templates that you used today with the Lightning Decision Jam? Any feedback on the process or how I facilitated? And you can be as blunt as you like. I'm totally fine with people telling me I suck or that I needed to go take a nap before I do these. But any feedback would be appreciated because Sandy worked pretty hard on these templates and has been trying to refine them so that they're useful for people to do.
It was fantastic for me. I mean, I saw the video and was my first virtual Lightning Decision Jam, and actually I had just to sit back and contribute, and that was great. And that's obviously due to the process and due to the templates that we used and that are easy to use, and the way you facilitated it. So I'm very happy.
I think also if you compare it to the GVDS 2.0, where lots of was happening on a canvas and it was messy, I think this really brings peace in the conversation and efficiency in moving to the next step instead of everybody sorting things and putting them in a grid. And as I experienced the first time, this is such a step forward.
I agree. It's much more structured, more space, more clear. So really progress since the last GVDS.
Yeah, and this is a taste of the actual templates that people will have access to when they start doing their virtual sprints. So Sandy's done the same thing, kept the same design conventions, worked out different activities that normally go into Mondays and Tuesdays and such, and has pretty much kept the same style and the same format. So really good feedback. As always, I think she's looking for improvements. So if you do have feedback on how you can structure some things better, or even if they're small, I'm sure she'd be open to hearing more about it. For those of you who had never been through a Lightning Decision Jam before virtually, besides Alex, are there any kind of comments around the process and what you thought of it?
I think it's really, like, you did a really good job engaging, and I like the layout. I prefer it. I'd like it. I found it helpful when the facilitator, yourself, Robert, pulls you to the next place instead of like using that time to kind of move over once or twice. You pulled us all there. If you could do that more, yeah, that's helpful.
Okay. Any other feedback about the process?
I just have a question.
Okay.
So I hope internet connection is now working. I really have issues today. So why did you decide to make this impact interest scale instead of the common one impact effort?
Because part of what I'm trying to do is to gauge whether or not beyond people going through the exercise, if their interest level is measured in such a way so that I can feed it back into the basically mapping the interest level of the topic to the teams that could adopt it in the Global Virtual Design Sprint.
Okay, I think I missed this because of the connection, if you mentioned it before.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. I totally get it that I may be like this and because I may come across like that. But if the whole point was to that interest level was to say, okay, if I know that that there's part of this that doesn't resonate with people because there's more dots over here, but it seems like this particular solution or that approach to the solution could work in terms of a potential challenge that if Tim brings back to his team, says, I had an impression of the cubicle carbon capture, and this is my impression of it. So it's coming from his experience, not all data. So it's humanizing the decision-making process. So it is a real conversation about what would seem really interesting.
Okay.
Anything else?
I like the format.
Cool.
It worked well, I think.
So we will be doing a number of these throughout the week. I posted the schedule, I think, in Facebook and in Slack. Right now, I don't have a convenient way of adding people into Google Calendar. I tried a number of ways, but it just doesn't play nice. So if you are interested in you have time beyond what you've put in, because I'm going to be checking this part. So if you're interested in doing any of the other LDJs that we haven't touched on, I mean, childcare nirvana, we did purpose-driven employment, optimizer remote circular economy of excellence is coming up. The best way outside of you telling me in Slack and Facebook that you want to get added to the meeting is to basically put your name in the dots down here when it comes to some of these topics. And I will refer back to them and make sure that they are included in the invite. So it's a cross-reference. So if you don't remember to message me direct, just use this. And that should be a really good way of being able to let me know if you're interested in signing up for a particular challenge for the LDJ, especially if you see it on a calendar. And if you can't make them, that's okay. If you have other things to do, I will be posting the replays back to and sending it back to the group that signed up for the challenge. So you'll have the YouTube feed. If the YouTube feed went down, then I'll use Zoom as a backup, but you'll have that. Okay?
Robert, I had another question. Some of the teams really are getting longer and longer with, I think, almost the double amount of observers in potential teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you, for instance, look at Team Oxygen in the team compositions, it's 8-9 observers and 8-9 participants. What is the way forward in how to deal with observers? Because I think can also be inefficient to have lots of people in a session not participating.
So if you notice at the very top, for each particular team, I try to put both an advisor and a facilitator at the helm. This is extremely important when it comes to kind of giving direction and to bringing the group through each particular facilitation phase. The researcher and designer and developer are just as important, but for those two pairings to be at the top, which constitute a team. Having said that, if in the midst of this, the people are gray here because some of them don't have their roles worked out on what they like to do, but if there are some people that want to try their hand at virtual designs for facilitation and have indicated as such, even though they may be new to it, then all they really need is an advisor counterpart, and you have a new team that can be on the same week that has a slightly different schedule that takes on the same challenge. That's going to vet itself out towards the end of this week. So you may see that after kind of getting the team together and doing a doodle on their availability for sprint week, you may find that Mihail and Sandy both have really good schedules, so this works, but Ian can't meet at the same time for whatever reason. But there's like 3 or 4 people or 5 people that are kind of observers / participants that could meet with Ian on this challenge. And all really needs is another facilitator or advisor head to kind of move things along with that. And that can also be borrowed by people that are in the same vein, like Team Strange has 2 potential facilitators here. And it's a matter of kind of mixing and matching to see what makes sense. So when I mentioned early in the week, there's going to be a lot of movement, that's something that's going to predicate it. But the idea is that I'm building flexibility into this so that people can maneuver, change, go where they need to go, and we'll find a good harmony between teams that are all on the same page about the challenge as well as their schedule, versus ones that still need help, or that will try to kind of make it happen for them, and in that we'll get a proper team together. So yes, a lot of observers, but I'm going to try to observe for the people that are observers slash people that want to get involved. I'll try to see if I can find a home for them that makes sense, because yeah, it would be, I wouldn't want to put like 12 people to have Sandy facilitate, because that would be unfair for her. I've already done that with Frizzo, and Frizzo survived, but I want to try to avoid that fate for people.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much for being part of this LDJ. I hope you got a lot out of it, and it was a good time for you, good use of your time. If you have any feedback for me, send it direct. I will post up the recording later on for everyone to view. But thanks again for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, your evening, or morning, or wherever you are. And again, as always, I'm on Slack. I may not respond right away, but I will respond eventually, okay? So take care, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you,
Thanks.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye. Have a good one.
You too. Bye. See you, Tim. Only 2 left. All right.
Thanks.
See you.